Farm & Country 790 KXXX. Time for Coffee to Chat, as we do every Thursday at 8:30. And boy, I got a big one on the line today. Been rolling out those hits since 1985, but you also might know him from his big jingle singer as well, too. We welcome to the broadcast the legendary T.Graham Brown. Good morning, T.
How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm fantastic. I have been playing your music on the radio since 1985 when you had your first album out. Been playing you for a long time, and it is for your career. It has been hit after hit after hit after hit. And, of course, everybody knows Darlene, The Last Resort, Hell and High Water, Don't Go to Strangers, brilliant conversationalist. And, of course, that first big one, Tell It Like It Used to Be. So you've got a nice string of hits, my friend.
Yeah, man, I had a pretty good run at radio in the day. You know, I never was the biggest star in the world, but I had enough hits that it's allowed me to keep working all these years, and people still come out to see us, so I'm really thankful for it.
I'll tell you what, man, you've got this distinctive sound. You've just got this cool thing about you. I love your songs. You've always been some of the most requested. I'm one of the most requested artists over the decades. Love having you on the show. Let's talk about T.Graham Brown's brand new album that's available at tgrahambrown.com. It's called Bare Bones. Let's discuss that.
Oh, man, it's just an acoustic, just a guitar vocal with some background vocals on it. Sheila had been after me to do an acoustic version of the hits, so I went in and did it. It was really easy. I don't know why I put it off so long, but I did it in a couple of days, and it's just a different way of listening to those songs, you know. It seems like, on an acoustic I listen to all kind of records, and seems like acoustic records, the vocals and the lyrics are more present, you know, and you're not listening to all the full production on it. It's just a different listening experience.
We look forward and we want people to check it out. Also, there's a new autobiography came out about you, so a chance for people to grab the book and kind of find out how you got started, everything, because you did a lot of jingles that people might know from some pretty famous products.
Yeah, well, the autobiography, we just been working and working. It just keeps getting longer. It's not out yet. It'll probably be out.
Oh, cool.
Maybe by Valentine's Day, something like that. But yeah, on that jingle thing, man, I used to do them. I still do a few. Man, I've done. It's funny. I've done every soft drink like Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper and 7-Up and on of that. And every beer, Budweiser, Miller, Stroh's, Coors, all that, and every car in the truck, Taco Bell, Burger King, McDonald's, Hardee's, KFC, all that stuff. And I did Sometimes You Feel Like a Nut, Sometimes You Don't. I did that for 7 years. And so, yeah, I've had a pretty successful jingle career, too. I get to do all kinds of fun stuff. You know, I still ride around in a bus and do those shows, and I have a show on Sirius XM radio that I do. And
man, I tell you what, my friend, T.Graham Brown's a busy guy out there, and I think if we can work our cards right, it would be cool if T.Graham Brown sang the 790 KXXX jingles for the station. See, we got to get that worked out, my friend.
Hey, man, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
That would make us the most awesomest radio station in the history of awesome radio stations. Let's talk about, by the way, you got T.Graham Brown on the phone. Check out his website, tgrahambrown.com. So is there a song that you recorded, whether it's a hit or not, that you think defines you? Do you say that you play or you hear and you say, that's my song? For a lot of people, like Billy Joel said, Piano Man is his song. Is there one for you?
Well, all the hits, man, it's just kind of, I wouldn't even be talking to you if it weren't for all of them. What's become my most requested song, and it never was a hit, is one I wrote called Wine into Water. It's a kind of a recovery song. At one time, I had a drug and alcohol problem and was able to whip that. grace of God and the love of my wife, Sheila Brown, who's been taking care of me for 44 years now. And, Wine in the Water's just kind of taken on a life of its own. It never was a hit, but it's been passed around by word of mouth, and it gets used in churches and AA meetings and conferences and rehab centers. And I got a message from a movie director in India the other day, and they've made a movie about Wine in the Water, and it's the theme song and all of that. So it's Wine in the Water's just kind of spread around the world, It's funny the way that song is. I don't know how to explain it. People, there's a lot of people out there with addiction issues, and it finally dawned on me. It took a while, but it finally dawned on me that everybody's either just like me or knows somebody real close to them just like me. So I guess it's kind of a universal thing, But I would say Wine in the Water is probably the best song I ever wrote, and like I said, it's the most requested one I get.
I'll tell you what, we're talking to T.Graham Brown and about addiction. I mean, there's two of us here. You're in recovery. I just 2 weeks ago celebrated 15 years recovery of alcohol, and your song, that song also helped me as well too when I was really going through a rough time in rehab back in 2008. So I understand, and that song did a lot for me as well.
That's beautiful, man. I'll be 69 in October, and man, I would try. I'd tell people I'd get on the horse and ride a while and fall off, and get on the horse and ride a while and fall off. But it's probably been about 15 years for me too. I didn't write it down. I didn't write my sobriety date down or anything, but I can remember like it was yesterday the day that I was finally, I think I finally got my heart right, and my head right. And it's an old cliche of a story, man. I just looked in the mirror one morning and said, man, what are you doing? You're about to blow everything. And I asked God to help me. And since that moment, I have not had one craving. It's crazy.
They do. They say it could come and haunt you at some point. You're one drink away from a drunk. It's one day at a time, and that's what it is. True, but there is a blessing and a higher power that is looking over you. That you drink and you do all this crazy stuff for so long, and then one day, that craving is gone, and that is work of something much bigger than us, ourselves.
Yeah, well, I'm not smart enough to do it. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I was so hard-headed. You know how it is, man. When you're a drunk or a drug addict, you think you know everything.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to hear it from anybody. And we turn into expert liars. That's one of the traits too. And it's just you finally have to just get your head right and get your heart right. And I think that's the big turning point.
Well, I'll tell you what, T.Graham Brown, we appreciate you, appreciate your music for all these decades, and appreciate the jingles as well, too. You've moved me to a lot of the products, but we want people to check out tgrahambrown.com. You have some big shows coming up, so check the website. You're going to be hanging around in some really cool towns, a lot in our area as well, too, over here in the tri-state area. I'd love to get you through to the Colby, Kansas, Goodland, Burlington, Colorado area for a show at some point, but I appreciate you, and congratulations again on all your success, and again, congratulations on your sobriety.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm having a great life. I'm having more fun now than I ever had. I'm not out there chasing a hit, and everything's way more laid back these days.
Absolutely. T.Graham Brown on Coffee and a Chat. Let's do it. Let's do that one that was never a big hit, but everyone requests. It's on 790 KXXX.